It is the volatility quality indicator, abbreviated down to VQ. It's almost the perfect initials. Almost. And we are back with the Indicator Profile series videos for the No Nonsense Forex YouTube channel. Today should be pretty short and sweet. We're going over the volatility quality indicator. Now, my question to you before we start is this a volatility indicator? What do you think? I think I've made it pretty obvious to the answer to that question. But let's go ahead and move on. If you're new, we do indicator profiles here. So if you like indicators, this is the place to be. But if you're brand new, you might not understand what we're doing. This is a complete, put together trading system that takes a while to learn. So if you don't mind taking a while to learn something great, go to nononsenseforex.com, read that very first page, watch the video on that first page, and you will be well on your way. But for the rest of us, let's go into the specs. The year is 2002 that this was created, and that falls right in comfortably to our 1996 and on range that we like to see here. This, as a lot of indicators were back then, is ripped from the Stocks and Commodities magazine. I think that's the name. It was around throughout the 90s, 2000s, and I think faded away finally in the 2010s once magazines kind of stopped being a thing. And for the longest time, this was the only place you could find new trading indicators. I mean, that's how it was back then. So let's just be grateful we are where we are now with the internet and with, channels like this. But I digress. Moving on. This is not a volatility indicator. This is a confirmation indicator, and it's a very simple one. We'll show you in a moment. And it's a zero cross, which is very easy to see. It's also a color change, which makes it even easier to see. And as far as being an exit indicator, I certainly wouldn't do it. Dan hates the idea of having this as an exit indicator. I would just simply say, don't even waste your time. But let's go ahead and move on to it. It looks like this. It's super simple. Now, we whited out the candles here just to make this thing pop because as it crosses the zero line to the upside or the downside, it changes color. Green for long, red for short. Super, super simple. I will say, as simple as this looks, the components behind it are quite complex. So you will absolutely want to consult the blog this week because Dan will tell you which of those settings actually matter and which one in particular you are certainly going to want to avoid. But as far as really looking at it and seeing what it does, there's really nothing else to do here. We can move on to the results. Now, before we do that, understand, we test these indicators a certain way. If you don't like that way, that's fine. You are free to go test it any which way you prefer. We simply put the data into the MT4 strategy tester, see what it spits out back to us, and report those findings to you. We're not reinventing the wheel here. Also know that down below in the description, you will get the blog, my automation blog, that has a video on it that shows you how to test these yourself on the MT4 strategy tester. So you can watch this video and then go learn how to do it yourself, which we not only recommend here, I pretty much mandate that you go do this. Don't just take our results and say, hey, that looks like fun, and then just start using it. No, test these things all the time. You'll also get the blog I spoke about that you're definitely going to want to see, and then a place where you can go download this yourself. So without further ado, let's see how the volatility quality indicator did. I have to say that slowly so I don't trip over myself. On to the Euro USD. Nice. Not the highest we've seen, but it doesn't matter. That's a really good starting point after the tweaks. Not so great before the tweaks, but one thing that I found interesting about this particular table of results is down here. Moved it down to 12 trades, but every single one of them was a winner. I don't think I've ever seen this before on the Indicator Profile series. But there you have it. And because it's a Forex pair and it doesn't run forever, even after a perfect score, you still got an ROI that would seem low. I mean, I love that ROI. And for a 3-month period, that's awfully good. But just understand that you don't get stratospheric returns on one indicator on a Forex pair almost ever, especially nowadays. Moving on to gold, however, which does move better, you will actually see kind of the opposite. Really poopy win-loss ratios even after the tweaks, but ROIs that give you even a little bit more. These are really good starting points for your gold algorithm. And really with a very simple indicator that you can use as your first confirmation indicator or your second. This thing has the capability to do both of those things for you. On to the S&P. These are going to be your best results of the day. Over 50% win-loss ratios, especially after the tweaks, and some really nice high ROIs for indices traders out there. The amount of trades did go up quite a bit, so mind that, but understand that they will go down after you start adding other components to your algorithm. Finishing off with Bitcoin, still not too shabby. I'll take this ROI right here. But this certainly did take a bit of tweaking after the default did not give us what we were looking for. But there you go, another indicator in the books, and we will just keep these coming. I'm going to keep my investing podcast coming, and as I've mentioned before, we are adding a new component to the No Nonsense Forex YouTube channel, something that I think is going to help a lot of people. And you are not going to want to miss that. So subscribe, hit the bell, don't miss these things. Expect to see this new component in November. It's not like earth-shattering, brand new stuff you've never seen before, but it will be super helpful. I can all but guarantee that. And we are very excited to bring that to you. But in the meantime, make sure you're doing all the work on your end that needs to be done. Make sure you're not trading when Jerome Powell speaks. But for almost every other trading day, be consistent, be meticulous, be relentless, execute, and go get it.